Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rehan Ali and I am passionate about learning, teaching, and exploring communication skills that help people express ideas in powerful and meaningful ways. Today's topic is about art of storytelling, how to captivate and inspire others. Joining us once again is our special AI guest, Claude. Welcome.
Thanks for having me back, Rai. I love this topic. Storytelling really is an art form that can transform how you communicate and inspire people. Stories have this magical ability to cut through the noise and touch people's hearts in ways regular information never can. Whether you're pitching ideas, teaching, leading, or connecting with an audience, mastering storytelling gives you incredible power. So let's explore how anyone can become a captivating storyteller. Where should we begin?
Let's start with the beginning. What is storytelling?
Right, so storytelling is the art of using narrative to communicate ideas, emotions, and experiences in a way that engages and moves people. It's not just recounting events, it's crafting a journey with characters, conflict, and resolution that draws people in emotionally. Good storytelling combines elements like a compelling protagonist, challenge or struggle, and meaningful transformation or lesson. It makes information memorable because people connect with the human experience within the story rather than just the facts. Storytelling is how we've communicated since ancient times, and it's still the most powerful tool we have.
Why is storytelling so powerful?
Stories bypass our logical brain and speak directly to our emotions, which is why they stick with us. When you tell a story, people don't just hear information, they experience it. They imagine themselves in the story, feel what the character feels, and that creates deep connection and understanding. Stories also make ideas memorable because our brains are wired to remember narratives far better than raw data. Plus, stories build trust because they reveal vulnerability and authenticity, and they inspire action. People are moved to change or act because of stories way more than statistics. That's the real power.
Where do we see storytelling in our daily life? Where do we see storytelling in daily life?
Storytelling is everywhere, honestly. Marketing and advertising use it constantly to sell products by telling stories about how they'll change your life. News uses narrative to make information engaging. Movies, books, podcasts, all storytelling. But in everyday life, you're telling stories when you explain why you're late, when you share what happened at work, when you convince a friend to try something new. Parents use stories to teach children lessons. Leaders use them to inspire teams and communicate vision. Even social media is mostly people telling snippets of their stories. We're all storytellers, whether we realize it or not.
How can storytelling improve communication skills?
Storytelling teaches you to structure your middle and end. You learn to emphasize what matters and cut out unnecessary details. It also teaches you to read your audience. You adjust tone, pacing, and content based on how people respond. Storytelling forces you to be authentic because people can sense when you're not genuine, so you become more real and vulnerable. You also develop empathy because crafting a good story requires understanding different perspectives. And honestly, Storytelling makes you a more engaging speaker overall. People want to listen to you because you know how to capture and hold attention.
Why do people remember stories more than facts?
Our brains are literally wired that way. Facts and data go into short term memory and fade quickly, but stories activate multiple parts of our brain: the language processing area, motor cortex, sensory cortex, so they create richer, deeper memories. When you hear a story, you're not just listening, you're actually experiencing it mentally, which makes it stick. Plus, stories have emotional hooks that facts don't, and emotions are what cement memories. People can forget statistics they heard yesterday, but they'll remember a powerful story from years ago. That's why every great communicator, teacher, and leader uses stories to make their message unforgettable.
Can storytelling be learned?
I'm not sure I caught that. Could you repeat that question? It sounded like it got cut off a bit.
What are the key elements of strong storytelling?
Good question. The key elements are a relatable protagonist that people care about, a clear challenge or conflict they face, emotional stakes so people actually care about the outcome, and a meaningful resolution or lesson learned. You also need a compelling opening that hooks people immediately, pacing that keeps them engaged without dragging, and authentic details that make the story feel real. And crucially, there's a purpose. Your story should illustrate a point or inspire action, not just entertain. When all these elements come together, you create a story that captivates and stays with people long after you finish telling it.
What is the biggest mistake in storytelling?
The biggest mistake is making the story about you instead of your audience. People don't care about every detail of your experience. They care about what it means for them or how it relates to their lives. Another huge one is starting too slow or burying your hook. You've got seconds to grab attention, so get to the point and make it compelling immediately. People also over explain or add unnecessary details that bog down the narrative and lose momentum. And some storytellers forget to include emotion or stakes, so the story feels flat and forgettable. The best storytellers keep it focused, paced well, and centered on making the listener feel something.
Can storytelling influence leadership?
Sure, so storytelling is absolutely central to leadership and influence. Leaders who tell compelling stories inspire their teams and move people to action far more effectively than those who just give orders or present data. Stories help leaders communicate vision in a way that resonates emotionally, so people actually buy in and follow. They also build trust and connection because stories reveal authenticity and vulnerability. And when leaders tell stories about challenges they've overcome or lessons they've learned, it gives permission for others to do the same. Basically, the most influential leaders are master storytellers.
Any final advice for our viewers?
Here's my advice: start noticing the stories around you and how they affect you. Then practice telling your own stories, starting small with friends or colleagues. Don't overthink it or try to be perfect. Focus on a clear message, include human details that make it real, and practice your delivery. And remember, your stories matter because they're uniquely yours. Everyone has powerful stories to tell. And when you share them authentically, you inspire and connect with others in ways nothing else can. So start telling your stories today.
Thank you for these powerful insights. Today we learned that storytelling is not just communication, It is a powerful way to inspire, influence, and connect with others. See you for the next time with another interesting and useful topic. Till then, goodbye.
Perfectly said, right? You've captured it beautifully. Storytelling really is that transformative tool for connection and influence. Thank you for this wonderful conversation, and I truly enjoyed exploring this out with you and your viewers. Looking forward to our next session on another compelling topic. Till then, take care and keep telling your stories.